Jada Pinkett Smith has a lot of red flags, and a lot of them has to do with her love life. Now, Jada recently opened up about her relationship with the late rapper Tupac Shakur. Now, the pair first met as classmates when they were both at the Baltimore School for the Arts back in the 1980s. In 1995, Tupac served 8 months in prison, but was released pending an appeal of his conviction. Now, Jada revealed that she visited the rapper while he was serving time on Rikers Island, and included moments from their visits in her memoir. Seeing him there, the condition that he was in, and having to leave him there, he was in bad shape, she told Barnes & Jackson, before revealing that Tupac proposed to her during one of her visits. So when he asked me to get married, I knew at the time that he needed somebody to do time with him, which I was going to do anyway. You ain't have to marry me to do time, I'm here, she said. Jada then added that she viewed the proposal as the rapper looking for a support system, and not because he loved her or wanted to get married. She noted that the marriage proposal wouldn't have amounted to anything at the end of the day. Because our friendship and because of everything we've been through together, he just wanted to feel that solidified foundation, you know? Because I promise you, he would have married and divorced me as soon as his blank left jail. Now, upon his release from prison, the pair met for lunch, where she wrote that they had an argument. His whole vibe has changed since his association with Suge, she says, and writes that after expressing her concern over his new Get Down, it kicked off a hailstorm of rage in which the rapper accused Jada of having gone Hollywood. Next thing I knew, he was done talking, and so was I, she said in the memoir. Now, despite the heated disagreement, Jada says she believed she would eventually patch things up, but it was up to Shakur to break the ice first. Now, a year went by in which they didn't speak, and before they could repair the rift, he had his life ended in Las Vegas. I never once saw myself on this planet without him here, somewhere on it, she writes. I felt a huge piece of love from me leave the world, a part of myself gone, and in its place was a rageful sadness. She then also revealed a lot of information about her and Will Smith. Now, after discovering that she was pregnant, Jada revealed that Will proposed by insisting they tie the knot, saying, "There was no way I was going to have a baby without him marrying me." She said that she was scared as hell, as she recounts going to Harry Winston in Beverly Hills the next day and buying herself a pear-shaped diamond, and explained why. "By buying my own ring, I took some measure of control and sent the message to myself. All right, get with the program," she writes. Now, in the days leading up to the wedding, she wrote that Will was hyper-focused on work and wasn't really paying attention to the wedding to be or not to be. Now, her mother was a different story, as Jada said she felt pressured to have a wedding, even though she preferred to exchange vows with Will in a small mountaintop ceremony. But leave it to Adrian to plead her case to Will, she writes in the book. After she cried her eyes out on the phone, Will took her side, assuring her we would indeed have a wedding after all. And in the end, the couple married in Baltimore on New Year's Eve in 1997. Jada then admitted on Red Table Talk that she had an entanglement with R&B singer August Alsina during her marriage to Will, although they were separated at the time. Now, the world was shocked when August spoke about his relationship he had with Jada during an interview in June 2020. He said, "I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, and I truly and really deeply love and have a ton of love for her." Now, he went on to claim that Will knew about the relationship and gave August and Jada his blessing. Naturally, people were shocked, as the Smiths are one of the longest lasting and famous Hollywood couples in recent history. Now, first, the couple issued a quick statement denying their relationship, but Jada then announced on her Twitter that she was taking herself to the Red Table. In July 2020, the Smiths sat down at the Red Table and discussed their relationship. They spoke about a dark period in their marriage where they thought they were going to separate and never speak again. Now, that's when Jada and August began their relationship, or what she originally called an entanglement. Now, Will denied giving August permission, but did know that the two were seeing each other. However, their relationship came to an end once Jada and Will decided to try and work things out, which they did. Then there was the whole slap incident. You see, the 2022 Oscars were a night to remember for many reasons. But the main reason was, well, Will slapped Chris Rock on live television. The incident happened due to Chris being on stage presenting an award, and he made a joke about Jada and her hair, which Will did not like because Jada has been open about struggling with alopecia. Now, after the joke, Will got out of his seat and got on stage and slapped Chris. He then went back to his seat and continued to yell, "Keep my wife's name out your laughing mouth. Viewers and audience members were confused as to whether this was a sketch or real, but as the night went on, it was clear that this was the real deal. Now, due to this, Will was banned from the Oscars for 10 years, and it was unclear if Will's projects would get released or if he would ever be cast again. Now, according to Jada, the holy slap, as she refers to the moment, was a result of decades of disrespect between Will and Chris that began long before either of them knew I existed. Though she doesn't explain the origin of their bad blood, she writes that it began in the 1980s with a big ol' misunderstanding that I don't have enough therapists or lawyers to begin to explain, and it kept festering. Despite the years-long tension in which she says she and Will were dragged across many stages by Chris's jokes, by the 2022 Oscars, she writes that she believed us to be cool. However, when Rock came out on stage, she recalls in the book that she immediately felt a train wreck coming and had the sense that Rock wasn't going to be able to help himself. Though she says she wasn't shocked by the subsequent blowback she received, she was surprised at the narrative that Will had slapped Chris over me as the adulterous wife who had now driven her husband to madness with the command of one look. The vitriol in the coming days did come faster and more furiously than I predicted, she writes. Blaming the woman is nothing new, and I was clear on that. But Jada says that she got to know another side of Chris Rock while the pair filmed and promoted their 2005 animated movie Madagascar together. I found him to be quirky, with an unexpected sweetness, and very intelligent, with a biting wit that's impressive if you're on the right side of it, she wrote about Chris. She then said she would later feel the burn of being on the wrong side when Rock targeted her during his 2016 Oscars monologue, a year that she and Will publicly sat out of the award ceremony over the lack of nominations for industry members of color. Why me, when there were so many others who had been even more vocal, she writes. Now, the dig was even more baffling to Jada, given that she says Chris once asked her out. At one point, during rumors that Will and I had divorced, Chris even called me to ask me out on a date. Once he found out I wasn't divorced, we laughed and he apologized profusely and life went on. Now, what's the biggest red flag of all of this is that Jada felt the need to share all this information. I mean, no one asked for any of this, and it seemed like she overshares a lot. I mean, there was one point where she was sharing something every couple of days, and the internet was tired of it. And I mean, I know I was. Well, that's all for our video today. What are your thoughts on Jada? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. I'm your host, Emily, and we'll see you next time.